video chat?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the conversation we had last night. So last night, part of the recap, I said, when you study history, every war is fought over natural resources. It's not fought over money. It's not fought over the yuan, the franc, the dollar, the peso, none of that. It's fought over resources because the invading armies want to take control over the land. Now, as it has been said, or as I said the other day, you notice that a lot of countries are letting go of the U.S. dollar for real this time. It had been talks of it for years, but now they're really doing what they can to get rid of the U.S., to not use the U.S. dollar and to use their own currency. So when it comes to planning for the future or planning ahead, the best thing for a person to do, best thing for you to do, is to be in a place where the natural resources are abundant, so that you won't have to use as much of the currency, because we don't have much gold and silver, so to speak. People don't use that as much as they use dollars and shit. So being in all the tropical places, let's say there is some kind of financial crisis or some kind of financial collapse, and there isn't much money or much currency, the best place to be in would be the tropics, because the natural resources are abundant. Being in a place like the States or anywhere outside of the tropics, people have to deal with the wintertime. And in the wintertime, the natural resources aren't as abundant, obviously. So those will be problem areas. Now, when you think, I kind of been looking at life like, when you come in life, you kind of just learning, and then there's this fear program instilled in you to put you in the best environment so that you can thrive. And going to a tropical environment and or just growing your food wherever you live is a part of that fear program. Like, the Babylon is collapsing and one day there won't be the dollar and all of this other stuff. When I look at them, they're just fear programs. And the fear programs that we put in our minds to better prepare us to, take care of the earth, to grow more food, to be more self-sufficient. That's why I like being in the tropics, because there's such a high abundance of natural resources, and it doesn't require the natural resources aren't required to have chemicals and pesticides and things like that. So the quality of the food in the tropics is much better, especially here in Puerto Rico. The quality of the mangoes, the quality of the papayas, the quality of the plantains and the tamarinds and everything that grows here is way better than it is in places outside of the tropics, due to the fact that there isn't any chemical warfare, so to speak. What do they call that shit? CRISPR and all this other shit. We don't have to be concerned with that over here. Right now I'm sitting in the car, riding around, headed to the job site, looking at the mountains, peeping all the fruit trees and the mango trees and stuff that are flowering. They should be here next month in June, next 2 months, I should say. But yeah, I put myself in an environment to where I can grow as much food as I want to and be as self-sufficient as possible, and not have to rely on the dollar and not have to rely on being concerned with the cost of living. Like, you just looked at the cost of living. You don't have to be as concerned. What'd you say? You said Puerto Rico was 46?
46% less than the United States.
So Puerto Rico's cost of living is 46% less than the United States. Some people would say that this is a third world country, but it's not necessarily the case. It's actually not the case. The thing is, those statistics, from what I can see, are based upon how much currency they can accrue, how much currency that nation can accrue, as opposed to the natural resources that the nation has. The real thing to pay attention to, going anywhere, traveling anywhere, living anywhere, is what is the land like? What is the natural resources like, so that we can eat from the earth, you know? So we don't have to rely on trying to go get fast food all the time, or gotta go to the left lane. Oh no, I see. Trying to eat fast food, get quick meals and stuff like that. We need to be in a place like this. I needed to put myself in this environment, and that's really the goal to all of this. Where can you put your physical body so that you can thrive the best? Look at that view up there. Where can you put your physical body so that you can thrive, instead of having to survive and having to live paycheck to paycheck and day by day and all of that stuff? Where can you put your body to where you don't have to essentially pay for your sickness? You'll notice that it's interesting. Unless you're in a place like some of the places in Africa, if you don't have much money and you have more resources, those people are a lot more healthy. You remember I was saying years ago and months ago, people typically pay for their diseases. You know, more than most. If you're going out to eat most of the time, you're gonna find yourself being a lot more unhealthy, and then you get sick, and then have to go to the doctor's office or have to go to the hospital and have to keep paying money. So no matter what, the money is always leading you to sickness. Always. That's why it's important. That's another reason why it's important. You look at it holistically. Growing food and farming and gardening is holistic healing. It's holistic living, specifically, not necessarily healing, holistic living. And it's literally the most important thing as humans. It's the most important thing for us to engage in. Remember last night I was saying the human is the only species or the only animal that can move whole trees. Like other animals just plant seeds and it just comes from their poop and stuff like that. But we can actually use our minds and organize and structure rainforests and environments and all kinds of stuff. Just by using our mind, we can do so much more than what the plants, what the other animals can do.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up. It says that in the Quran as well.
It says what in the Quran?
It says that the human's purpose in life is to be kind and organize and care for the natural environment.
Yeah, that's also a Native American thing, or indigenous saying. Like, our job on the earth is to protect it and reduce, and in modern times we would say to reduce our carbon footprint, to not use cars and planes as much, use buses, so we don't have to use as much car exhaust and put all the fumes in the air, to not use as much farming practices such as breeding cattle and things like that give off a lot of methane gas from their soil, from their poop. Yeah, it's important, man. It's like we have to look at the cumulative effect, and humans have the biggest cumulative effect on the environment, on every environment. It's important, man. All of what we're doing, all of what you're doing is important. If you find yourself in a position to where you have to keep asking, keep begging, etc., it's because more than likely that person, and I've made a video about this and put it on YouTube already, more than likely that person isn't engaging in all these natural practices. When you help the earth gonna help you. It's gonna create situations and bring people into your life that's gonna help you in the same way that you're helping the earth. Whoever is kind to the creatures of God is kind to himself. What is that?
From a
Hadith Bukhari.
There is none amongst the Muslims who plants a tree or sows seed, and then a bird or a person or an animal eats from it, but it is regarded as a charitable gift for him.
Yeah, when we grow plants, like you seen the mangoes. We helping the mango tree grow, and the horses come and eat the mangoes. And You got the fruit flies that come, and the ants, and the worms. Like everything's eating from what we're doing. Everything's benefiting from it. Even the birds come and eat the papayas and stuff like that. You know, it's such an abundance. Like we're doing it for ourselves, but we're also doing it for the other plants and animals. Excuse me, for the other animals. But it's highly important. It's highly important that we do these things, and it's always going to be important. I got my socks and yeah. But that's what I wanted to make this video about today, is to talk about the importance, once again, the importance of you being as close to nature as you can be. Working with nature as much as possible. Finding different ways to keep yourself busy, so to speak. Doing something to better the quality of your quality of living. It ain't just about the technology and what kind of technology we have. It's also about what kind of natural technology that we have and the life we have surrounding us. Remember me saying, guys, the more plants you have, the more life is around you, because all the plants are living. They're all spirits. The spirits running through. As long as the breath is running through them and they're breathing, that's life. That's why people that live in the rainforest and the jungles and things like that, they have a lot of life. They're really happy. They're a lot more community oriented, and they don't have as much disease. They don't have to be concerned with it because they're surrounded by just life and breath and oxygen and air. You know, their quality of living is really good. It's so important for the human organism to be in a tropical environment because of the quality of living, because of the situations that happen for us to benefit us. And it's not just about going anywhere in the tropics. You still want to go to where you're familiar. You still want to be able to blend in, and if you're going somewhere where people don't speak English and you're an English speaker, you need to be trying to learn the language so you can communicate with the other people and gain that respect. But without trying to learn the language, you're never going to gain the respect of the community. You see? If you go somewhere in, like, let's say the Philippines, and you're not speaking Tagalog, you're not going to be necessarily respected by the community as much as you would because you're an outsider that doesn't know the language and doesn't know the culture and doesn't respect it. So you're not going to get that respect in return. You know, I've seen people go to other tropical places, especially in America, and not learn Spanish. You know, they speak English all the time, they don't know Spanish, or they go to Africa and don't understand Kiswahili or whatever language they got going on over there. They go to, you know, you get the picture. We got to be learning the language is part of adapting to the environment. The people are part of the environment, so you got to adapt. It's highly important. But yeah, to recap, in order to put yourself in a position to where you don't have to be concerned with a financial collapse or crisis, health crises, anything like that, start growing food. Put yourself in a better environment. Increase your quality of living. I think that's going to be it for this video. Short and sweet. Peace and love. I love myself.